You guys, it's me, Gemstone. Um, my hair looks like this because my hair is just getting on my nerves today. Having one of those days where it's like I tried to put it up some kind of way and it's just not doing it because I put a different kind of product in it for a style that obviously I'm not trying to achieve. Um, Cause I guess like me, like most people, you have certain products you use when you're trying to do a certain style. And then today when I got up, I thought I wanted it all slicked back, so I put like this like gel product in it, and then I kind of changed my mind and I wanted it like more like the back to be slicked and the top to be more up, but the up part wasn't coming out how I wanted it to because I don't usually put gel in that part of my hair, and it had gel in it, so it's just going crazy. And so I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's just gonna look wild right now. And to be honest, because now I have it down, like my head feels like really hot. Because whenever I have my head down and it's quite warm, I feel like I'm on fire. So, but anyway, and I can't even turn my fan on because I've had to plug in my laptop, and the thing for my fan isn't long enough, like to plug in with my laptop plugged in because it has to be closer to my laptop. So yes. What this video is about like new decks that I have bought and stuff. And I bought them over the Christmas. But I didn't make a video like usual. And well, I made one about the Ocho Zen Tarot, which I have here. Which is the entire, you guys would have seen this like a million and one times if you watch different readers and stuff on YouTube, because it's such a popular deck. Like loads of readers use that deck, and I can understand why. It is a really good deck. It is quite different. It is quite different to like the traditional tarot and stuff. And I'm gonna post a separate video about the Ochos and tarot because of something I experienced with it, which was like really weird. And basically it was that I received like a counterfeit one, and I didn't even know there were really people were like copying this deck and making counterfeit versions. And to me it's kind of weird that they are doing that with this deck, because it's a mass produced deck. It's not like it's a limited edition or a deck that's out of print or something like this. Like, so I couldn't really understand why people are doing that, but it is what it is. So in that video I kind of show you like the difference between like the fake one and the real one, and to be honest it's like so obvious, like you'll be able to tell pretty much instantly. But I just, because it was something I didn't really know was happening, I'm sure there's plenty of others that don't really know about it, so I just wanted to make a video basically warning you guys about it. And so yeah, I'm gonna upload that video as well. But all in all, I feel like this deck is a pretty cool deck. I am kind of getting more used to it because again it doesn't follow like the traditional like Rider Waite or anything like that, and a lot of my decks are kind of Rider Waite kind of clone decks. Apart from I do own a fourth deck as well, and actually I do have another deck that is kind of more based on the fourth system. So I try to have quite a diverse collection when it comes to my decks. Like I try to have like add things, especially now that my collection is quite big. Well, it's getting there. There's definitely people that have much bigger collections than I do, for sure. But it's like I'm now at the point where I try to add things that are quite different to things that I already have, and this is a very different kind of deck, in terms of, obviously it's just so it it has its own personality. So for that reason, like I decided to pick this deck. I don't know who this reading is for with the decks with the cards that is showing. whoever it's for, like, it will be okay. Like, life will be okay. Because, like, the first card that came up was the stress card. This wasn't supposed to turn into a reading, but it's like, it seems to be showing something quite interesting. And then next one is suppression, which is another really stressful, stressed out kind of card as well. And then it's trust. You need to trust in yourself and trust in your abilities, and not let things get you down or bog you down, not let like life's responsibilities or life pressures stop you from taking a chance on certain things and hinder you in any kind of way. I feel like that reading is for somebody because I can't exactly relate myself to these cards. I don't really feel that stress, like, oh, only if it's showing me something that I'm gonna feel like later on, which I don't think so. But so I kind of feel like this is for somebody else. So basically, I just kind of feel like whoever this reading is for, whoever's randomly watching this video, is saying that if you're going through a really stressed out time, really difficult time where things kind of feel very unpredictable and like kind of out of your control, is kind of saying you need to trust that things are going to get better, and that sometimes you have to take a risk, you have to take a leap of faith in order to get to where you want to be, or in order for things to change for you. I kind of feel like this reading could be applying to somebody that is like feeling kind of stagnant in their situation and feeling like they either can't move on or feeling like it's really difficult for them to move on because of certain things that's been going on in their life. And it's kind of saying that you have to let go of all that stuff because you've got too much on your plate. There's too much baggage that you're carrying right now. So whoever that's for, there you go. But this is a really cool deck, and again, it's like, as you can see, it's like super simple to read with. So I think that this deck is like amazing for people that are like beginners or people that aren't really interested in studying the tarot per se, but they just want to read cards. Like, I think this is a great deck for you to just pick up and just start reading the cards and get a message that resonates with you. So yeah. Another deck that I purchased, and this deck means so much to me, you guys. Like, it's so special to me. And I think, especially being that I'm, pregnant at this time, and I really feel so connected with the feminine aspect of myself. Like, and maybe it's because I'm also carrying a girl too, so it's like, I don't know, I have a whole bunch of estrogen in my body, so I think I just feel so like connected with that kind of goddess energy and feminine energy. And I think what is really amazing about this deck, which is the Soulful Woman deck, is for the people that made it, and I don't want to try and say this lady's name because I feel like I'm really going to mess it up, so I'm just going to show it to you guys. I know it's kind of backwards, I'm sorry, but if you want to know the names, look it up too. But I do want to give them like so much credit, like the creators of this deck, because it's just what they've created is so meaningful, and I think it's so and can be very meaningful to a lot of women, because of the fact that I think in this, it can be so difficult for us to kind of really be able to appreciate ourselves in the way that we should, and really be able to know what we need to do for ourselves and actually do it. I think sometimes we as women can really put our needs second place to either a relationship, to a your family, to your kids, all this kind of stuff, and we can really sometimes even neglect ourselves in different ways, different things that we need. Sometimes we think just because of the fact that you may do your hair and put your makeup on and all this other stuff, and you may look very presentable, that you're doing what you need for yourself. But it's deeper than that. It's about what do you need in terms of for you to feel a sense of psychological well-being, emotional well-being, all that kind of stuff. And I think this deck, I find it brings me back to myself, in that it usually will guide me in a way that will it will give me a message that I really need to hear, and it will almost tell me what it is that I need to do to help myself in that moment. And it almost like reminds me that I need to put myself first when I go to this deck. And it's not a selfish way of putting yourself first. It's not about just It's about just making yourself more of a priority. I think that's what this deck really does for me. And like for instance, I'll just shuffle it up and I'll just pick a random card and you can see the message. And the artwork, oh my gosh, is so beautiful. Like, it's all different artists that have inspired like this, the creation of this deck when it comes to the images. But if I look how gorgeous that is. And for me, like, there's so many cards where I just look at them, like, and I'll just be looking at it and just thinking, oh my gosh, like, it's so beautiful. And this one is heart healing, and it says, my courageous healing journey brings me personal awakening and a deeper relationship with myself. And that's what I'm telling you. Like, the affirmations and stuff on these cards, it's like, it always gives you something to think about. Like, it's like deep messages, and I think sometimes and it's really great when you get a deck that's like that, because you can do so much self-development work with a deck like this. And this deck is like especially good for women that kind of have low self-esteem, low self-worth, they don't feel empowered, especially if you are a reader and you're reading for somebody that is in that situation or in a situation like that. Like a reading with this deck can be so powerful in terms of the advice that it can give and the guidance that it can give. And in that respect, like, that's why I just truly love this deck. And I'll just show you like just a few more of the images for you to just see like how pretty this deck actually is. And I just think if you're into decks in any kind of way, and you're a female especially, like, definitely get this deck. It's just, oh, so gorgeous. Okay, so let's move to the next one. The next one is the Morgan Greer Tarot. It's the Morgan Greer Tarot. I almost feel like I don't even need to show it that much because it's everywhere. Like, so many readers read with this deck. But the only thing that is kind of interesting with it is that it kind of had a bit of a revival period, because this deck I think came out in the 70s or something like that. And so it's been around for quite some time. But last year, I believe, they came out with a miniature tin version, because I think it was a part of some kind of, it was selected out of all different decks for them to make this miniature version of it. And it kind of became, really popular with people buying the miniature version. And so many people, when I was watching the reviews, were saying, that this original size, which is this deck, the original size was always something that they liked, but that it stayed on their wish list and they never actually ended up getting the deck. And that's kind of how I feel about this deck. Like, for the longest time, it's been on my wish list and I just didn't get it. And there wasn't really any specific reason why. I just didn't get it. But I am kind of glad that I got it, because I do really like this deck. I think my reasons for liking it is that the colors are really pastel-y, and they're very bright and bold colors. So it's like whatever image comes up, it's very clear, it's plain, and it's like you can't mistake it. You can't mistake what's coming through, like the symbolism and all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's very direct in the way that you can pick up the messages from the cards. So it's like, and sorry, I'm tongue tied. What I mean by that is, sometimes with certain decks, especially depending on the artwork, sometimes you can have so much going on in a card, like in certain decks, and sometimes that's nice. Like, for instance, Shadowscapes. Like, so many people will say, oh, it's a beautiful deck, and the artwork is very beautiful, but some people feel like there's so much going on in the deck, they find the images overwhelming and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I just feel that there's a place for that kind of artwork, and there's a place for artwork like this. And I think this kind of artwork everything is just very clear, and And so for that reason, I think for people especially that do get overwhelmed by artwork that's a bit too busy, they would definitely prefer something like this. And I think this is a really great deck if you are kind of looking for something to study with and all that kind of stuff, because of the fact that it's just, there's no it's one of them decks. To me, it's like if this deck was a person, it would definitely be the type that is like what you see is what you get kind of thing. And I like that about it. You know, there's no pretenses and stuff. It's just the images are just there, and so you just know what they are, and it just is what it is. And yeah, so it's cool, and I'm glad that I finally decided to add it to my collection. And I totally love that the Queen of Swords is at the front of the box. So last but not least, I got a rune deck and book, rune oracle book and card pack. And I got this when I went to a metaphysical store around Christmas time, and I paid like £10 for it, which I think was a bargain, in all honesty, because of the fact that you get a deck and you also get the book, a book attached that has really good pictures and everything in there. The pictures are really nice and stuff to explain like the different runes and stuff like that. I really like that a lot. And so I've been using them. I've been using the rune cards, and I feel like they make really great study cards, almost like flashcards for the runes, because you know when you use actual runes, obviously it's not like tarot where you have a card where it has the name and everything on there. So therefore things like even just memorizing the names can be quite difficult. Like this one is Rudio, or Rudio. I said Rudio. And that's another thing, sometimes runes are pronounced differently as well, like depending on the book and the people and all this other stuff, because I've seen videos where people have different names for different runes and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at this one, for instance, because it looks like an R, and because the name kind of begins with an R, it's easier to remember. But there's certain other runes where it's not that straightforward. Like for instance, this one on Zeus, if you look at that, like it doesn't look like an A, so it doesn't really prompt your mind to be like, okay, that's on Zeus. So it's like stuff like that. But I think the good thing is when you see it like this with the name and the image on a card, and then also I'm going to bring it closer so you can actually see it has keywords on there as well. It just helps you to memorize it a bit better, and it can help you also in terms of you can do readings with them definitely and get really clear messages and stuff like that. So I like that with these cards I have the option of reading with the cards, and then I also have the option of reading with my runes, and this kind of helping me to memorize the keywords and to memorize the names of the runes and stuff like that, which is really cool as well. So, and another good thing is that in the pack is you get rune cards, and you also get talisman cards. And the talisman cards are ones that you can walk around with on your person so that you can embody the energy of the rune. Like if you need a certain kind of energy for the day, or like this one for instance is Ferhu, which is money, success, business, all that kind of stuff. So maybe on a day where maybe you have like some kind of business proposal, or you have like a work meeting, something like this. Like if you wanted something to give you a certain kind of energy that supports something that you're doing, like maybe this rune would be good for like something to do with business, work, and that kind of thing. And so it might be nice to just have it on you. So I think that's kind of cool. And it also has these additional cards as well, which has like spreads and stuff on them too. And all the backs of each one is different. Like that's the back for these kind of ones, and the talisman ones has this kind of back, and then the ordinary rune cards has that kind of backing. So it's pretty cool. So if you are interested in learning the runes and stuff, do go out and get this book because I think it's really good. And the person on that created it is Lona Eversden. And so what else? That's a good one.